We're not going to do an intro. I don't even know if you'll get a notification on this one. The technical difficulties. And the monkey. Look. The monkey. She's so hyper. She's so hyper. Watch your butterfeet up there. She's so sweet. Hello, everyone. I can't see nothing. That's her feet up there. Oh, you love it when I scratch your back, don't you? You love it when I scratch your back. You got a notification, really? Really? No. She does love me. I love her. Screen's back to normal. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I have never seen a company raise something double. Like almost double. I'm surprised y'all got a notification. Please don't. No. And provide less. Yep. That's crazy. Because I always I missed your 1 month membership. Thank you so much. Very, very sweet of you. I need to thank SL as well. Need to thank our dear SL and Debbie, I think it is. SL gave a very generous super chat. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you, my beautiful SL. Merry Christmas to you and yours. You hear? It should be illegal to double something. You know? Netflix went up too. I need to check my Netflix. That's the thing about these companies. Like, they can just raise it instantly. And, like, you don't even know. They just take it out of your account because you applied to the terms. You know what I mean? Can you not? Can you not? Side of the screen. I'm on the correct side of the screen now. It's crazy. Come on. All right. You're going to have to go lay down. Merry Christmas, Jan. Thank you so much, my love. Fine, I'm gonna start letting you go. I'm gonna start letting you go whenever you do that. That's what I'm gonna start doing. Letting you go. You like this view, babe? Just a moment. She wants to play so much. Two little monkeys jump on Justin in a few months. Yep, when we get our other one. I know. My hair's parted on the right side now. I must have had it mirrored or something like that. This little thing was hitting buttons left and right, hitting buttons left and right, hitting buttons left and right. All right, you go lay down. You need to sleep. You need to sleep. Lady lumps. Lady lumps. Here. Okay. Been in the bushes for a while. Love you and Remy. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stacy. Let's see here 1 second. Oops. What'd I do? Eh. One second. Okay, there we got it. What is that, Bentley? What's going on? Progress. Merry Christmas. Yeah, Jilly. Yeah, I'm going to be getting another monkey in the spring or summer. I was just looking at Nick's post on X. Let's look. Oops. We can look. Remy. 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 Sorry. Uh-oh. Something's up. Something's up, y'all. Enough is enough. I'm releasing the full DM conversation with SF Investigates, a decision that weighs heavily. Fisher, relentless threats, direct and indirect blackmail, and manipulation have left me with no other option. As private investigator licensed across multiple states, his role is meant to protect, uphold justice, and maintain integrity. Instead, he weaponized the authority to intimidate and control. I know Fisher won't stop. He'll expose our text, weaponize illegal recordings, and continue trying to turn my allies against me, but I won't be boxed in, gagged by his threats uh, and coincide simply for taking on the case that his buddy and confidant, who's now turned into a puppet, was even eager and hopeful for us to assist. This isn't just about me, it's about accountability. I've admitted what when I've been wrong. My history reflects that, but has he? Question mark. His refusal to acknowledge his own mistakes baffles me, especially when he disregards professionalism for the sake of always being right. Again, enough is enough. I'm also releasing a screen recording of my DMs at QB8880. While I didn't expect privacy in those conversations, I've now seen how she's twisting my words to spread misinformation. Her actions remind me of a rabid coyote striking wildly and without care for the harm caused. I'm sharing this is not retaliated, but to stop the lies and prevent further damage. Transparency is the only visible path forward to dismantling the chaos, deceit that has enveloped Sebastian's case. All right. All right. Damn, son. This is crazy. Um Nick says Nick's that he says enough is enough. And I guess he talked to SF behind the scenes and QB behind the scenes. And we'll see what it says. Are y'all ready? All right. Let's see what we got here. I see I have a mutual pest. Just some friendly advice. Be careful with that guy. He's unhinged and costly to get rid of. If local police could go through his electronics, he'd be in prison for the almost amount, rather, of illegal materials he stole from electronic devices and databases from Connecticut to California. If you need any additional information on him, I can email you our personal file on him, but you'd have to keep it under your belt because he'd be back at us if he finds out we're sharing anything. Um, I don't know who. Okay, I guess this is okay. Hey, I actually read the complaints and injunction in your case a few years ago when he was threatening Nick, the woman he was dating, and actually we used the part about him with sending pics of the pew pew during her restraining order hearing. He started filing complaints against my PI license and encouraging his followers to do the same. I filed a defamation suit against him in Florida and receiving a default judgment against him. He did file to have it set aside, and I didn't pursue it further after that. He is a cancer for sure. Guys, there's too much shit to read here. I'm not reading this. I don't care that much. I mean, y'all can go see it. This ain't me. It's just not me. Stacy, thank you so much. Been in the bushes. I appreciate you. Jan, thank you so much for 8 months. Really do appreciate it. There's so much there. There's so many texts and stuff. Appreciate you. I don't know who's in pink and who's in red. It's hard on the eyes. The pink is very hard on the eyes. Yes. It's way too long. Yes. I am not that invested in all of that. It's really hard to read when it's pink like that. A professional like MPI wouldn't act like Justin, I sent you a screenshot of your email in Edgar's words. In Edgar's words. Is it something he said? SL, thank you so much. Sebastian. Okay. Interview a long time ago. Law enforcement does not want that information out there. I am not releasing it. It's just no, the last time I saw Sebastian was early February until I came home February 26th. There's nothing wrong with that. Hold on. Am I reading this wrong? Am I reading this wrong? Right here in the yellow. Just know the last time I saw Sebastian was early February until I came home February 26th. Am I reading that wrong? Until You're right, Maurice. There's a lot of people that try to just. I don't know why human beings just can't. You know what? You don't like someone, fucking move on. But I don't know. How would he have seen him February 26th, Justin? Because oh, I see what they're saying. I got what you're saying. God, it's too late. Okay. So he's saying I did not see him until the last time I saw Sebastian was early February until I came home February 26th. That is a good catch. Edgar saying this. Edgar, you are. Hold on one second. Guidance, which part? Which part? One second, guys. Hold on one second. Yeah, text me back. Yeah, I already showed. I showed it. I showed it. Um. Okay, here's this. Thank you for sending me that. Let's look at this. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. All right, information out there. I am not releasing. It's just know the last time I saw Sebastian was early February until I came home February 26th. You are leaking like a sieve, Edgar. You are leaking like a sieve. Mother chicken. How about that? Mother chicken, mother chicken. FBI, open up! We need it louder. FBI, open up! Yeah. Leakage. Edgar has been leaking since 1967. Guarantee it. Excuse me. I text you a video I posted on Find Sebastian Rogers book face. Jumped again. What date in February was the school meeting? She didn't remember the exact date. What did she say? She said it was anywhere from, I think it's between the 7th and the 9th. Between the 7th and the 9th. You speak a lot of truth when you are intoxicated, or I believe anyway. A lot of people said he sounded drunk. Do y'all think he sounded drunk? I just thought he sounded normal, but let's continue. Credit goes to Elevated Truth Podcast. Also, guess who is covering Oh, hold on. Guess who is covering Edgar now? I can't think of his name. 1 second. He's the one. I'm embarrassed right now. I can't even think of his name. I apologize. I'll think of it in just 1 second. Give me Deception Detective. Deception Detective. Love him. He's a good guy. Deception Detective is covering. Parents meeting was February 7th. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much.
We're shining the spotlight on the. Welcome back. This morning, we're shining the spotlight on the search for Sebastian Rogers and the last known video of him before he disappeared.
Edgar, just so you know, we are big Court TV supporters here. And you should be thanking them for the coverage that they are doing.
Security cameras caught Sebastian eating dinner with his mother at a Texas roadhouse in Hendersonville, Tennessee, the day before he vanished. His mother was seen taking photos of him and then sending them to somebody. Now, looking at this video, it's kind of hard to believe he hasn't been seen since then, but that is the case.
Sebastian. What did we say? What did we say? Oh, she was sending those to Edgar. Do y'all believe she was sending a plate of the food that he ate the whole thing? Now, Edgar, tell me this. You guys said he ate there like a bottomless pit. That's your words, Edgar. So if he ate all of his food, it would be an ordinary day, right? I mean, you was zooming in awfully hard on that. Don't play, God. Come on, Edgar.
Sebastian vanished from his mother's home on February 26th. His father says he still has hope he'll be found.
The goal is still the same. Find Sebastian. He needs to be found and brought home to a home that loves him.
Sebastian's 16th birthday was last weekend, and police say that they're still actively investigating this case, and they're not deeming it a cold case as of now. I have a special guest I want to welcome onto the program now. You know her and love her, retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindeffer. She also, by the way, has her own brand new YouTube show called Break the Case. It is awesome. Be sure to check it out. Jennifer, good morning to you. You were one of the first people to follow this case. I love following you on Twitter, and I remember seeing you were doing the missing person tweets, as you always do, and have continued to follow every single development. Looking at this, as it is hard to not have emotion in it because your heart just breaks for this family, this teenager. Where do you think the investigation is likely to go from here? Does it go anywhere?
Well, Julie, looking at this tape, and I've had it for so long, I just didn't release it until it was released by others. But essentially what I was looking for were the reactions of the mom, of course, Sebastian's actions. One of the things, a couple of things I noticed is his eating style, I thought, was very interesting. It was like he hadn't been fed in a week. I'm not saying he hadn't been fed in a week. I'm just saying the way he eats was very aggressive. He was just constantly eating. What I also noticed from the mother was her staring around, looking around, almost like she was on surveillance for someone. In addition, she was on her phone such a large percentage of the time, seemingly not really engaged with Sebastian. These were just a couple of takeaways. Julie, I also looked at the people around.
So, yeah, Jennifer would know about those disconnected phones because she can get access to the reports, the background reports, and it's not just a background report, it is a background report, and you have to be either to you either have to be law enforcement or something of law enforcement, or I think I think PIs can get them too. And it tells you everything. Everything. It's not like a regular background report. It tells you everything. Everything. Every car that they've ever owned and all of that. So yeah, Trooper's mom. I'm sure she does. I'm sure she does. Tori, thank you so very much for your support, my dear. Guys, can y'all believe it's almost Christmas? It's the 22nd. It's almost the 23rd. It's in 30 minutes on the East Coast. It's going to be Christmas Eve. That's crazy. They are leaking, in my opinion. Someone better come forward before the hammer drops. Love you, Justin, and love your style. Keep on being you. Thank you, Lovey. Appreciate you so very much. Really do. Thank you, my love. I mean, some people are just. I'm echoing what you said 9 minutes ago. I'm behind the list. Okay. Some people eat fast. Some people eat slow. But guys, could you drop my email for someone in chat if you don't mind? Okay. All right, Lynn.
Crowd. Was anybody watching them? And there's other film footage that I've personally viewed that might give some credence to somebody else watching them.
That's interesting. That's really interesting, Jen.
Now, guys, she said they were saying Katie was saying that she was looking for her waitress. People look like that for their waiter or waitress? I don't know, but I thought it was, usually on those little buttons right there, you can call your waiter or waitress. You can pay, you can play games, you can call your waiter, you can order food. Just looked like she was looking for someone. In my opinion.
And thank you for pointing that out, because as I'm watching it, and look, I'm not an investigator as you are, that was the first thing that jumped out was her head's going every which way. She's sitting there with her son, and like you said, she's not engaging him. And just to kind of back up and reiterate, to digest this more, in what you've seen other people looking at them too. Did it seem like they were trying to find each other? Like, is she looking for someone? I
Good
wonder.
Point. Mohawk, very good point. I've waited tables, and you're always assigned sections. You are always assigned sections. They give you like anywhere from 3 to 4 tables, maybe 5. But we do know she was texting Edgar, which I said, you know what they're going to do? They're going to see who she was texting at that time. So there's that.
You think, Jennifer?
Well, yes, in other footage that I've seen, I haven't released it. It's not for me to release. But I think that there may be some questions now regarding somebody possibly looking at them, certainly not acting appropriate.
Well, I mean, Kelsey, he will not. Edgar is a coward when it comes to interviews. He knows there's some people, like obviously police and stuff. I mean, you don't even have to talk to police if you don't want to. So I think he goes where he usually they're going to agree with him. But He came up the other day with truth because, in my opinion, was triggered.
And I'm sure that will be released soon. And when you put it in conjunction with how Katie Proudfoot is acting, it just adds up to something that doesn't make a lot of logical sense.
Sure. Jennifer, this has me wondering, did he even go back to the house? Do we have any confirmation that he ever made it back to the house? Because
This was
he
this
said
morning.
he was reported missing from the house, supposedly in the middle of the night, wanders off. And now I'm just wondering about that. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, please.
Well, I think, unfortunately, we're so reliant on what Katie Proudfoot has to say. She's the last person to see him. She's the only one with him. She's the one that makes the report. We're so reliant on that. And I've also found it very interesting, that she works for a video recording company and meaning, home security type company. And yet we have no home security footage. At least that we know of Sebastian Rogers coming, going. There's, very little, let me say. And I've always found that very much to be an oxymoron, Julie.
Sure. And
Who
we
made
know
the
that
report?
Sebastian had special
What do you
needs.
mean?
We know that
What
he was
report?
living with autism and needed some extra care in the home. A great point you just made, Jennifer. Perhaps it would be helpful even to have more eyes on him throughout more times of the day if he's not in your direct line of sight. So do you know if they even had any video cameras established in the home at all?
I think there were video cameras established outside the home. As far as inside the home, I have not read or heard any legitimate, data.
Listen to Jennifer. She's going to say a lot of the same stuff we've been saying
regarding that. But again, this just makes little sense to me regarding the fact that he had autism. I understand he wasn't a wanderer per se, but this is something that persists with people that are on the spectrum. We see it every week, somebody leaving their home and sadly being found in a body of water. And so if you have those utilities available to you, why would
that KK was the one that made the 911 call?
you utilize them?
Exactly. Great points from you, as always. Jennifer Coffindeffer, we'd love to continue the conversation with you about this. That's all the time we have for today. But my friends at home, do yourself a favor. Follow Jen on Twitter. Follow her show on YouTube. Check it out. You will love it. Such great interviews and insight always. Jennifer Coffindeffer, until next time, have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for your time this morning.
Smiley made a post about let's see here. About boxes. What's up with all the boxes, Mr. CP? What boxes? Am I overlooking this? Where's boxes? I don't see boxes. Look at the first picture. I don't see it. Back of his truck. Still don't see it. Guys, I think Edgar has a new car, another new vehicle. Next to trash can in front of KK's work van. That's the trash cans. I don't see any there. There are boxes by the work van. Like right there. Maybe right there. From my sources, they say that Edgar and KK have not been home a lot. They've not been home. Oops, 1 minute. Let's see here. I mean, there's boxes right there, maybe. I don't know. Oh, look, he's got no trespassing signs up on his little fence. They are free birds. By the cone. Justin, check email I sent. Okay, yeah. So, look at this. I guess right there. I guess that's what they're talking about. So KK, she used to have a van that used to say Brinks on it, but now she has just a white van, just a white van. I don't think it's. I mean, I think they're probably having trouble again. I would, from what I've heard. I don't think they're home. In my opinion, they're just rotating some vehicles. That's what I hear, allegedly. That's why I think there's another vehicle somewhere. White vans always scared you as a kid? Yes, because they offer you candy or pet their kitten. No way. That's what I thought about rotating houses too. Um, you know, I don't think they're at home. White panel vans still scare me. Why would you sell your house and your kids missing? Who does that? Well, I don't think they're going to sell their house because I don't think anyone's going to buy that house, to be quite honest with you. But time will tell. Time will tell. Yeah, it's not on the market. People's been saying that, but the one thing I do have a very good source on is that they've not really been home. Um Edgar's brother-in-law comes and switches out vehicles or something like that, which I don't fully understand. Why do they so much? I don't know. Justin sent an email with the snippet from Edgar's interview. In my opinion, he says so much in the 107 clip. Let's go. One second. Oh, well, thanks, Jenny, for that. Okay. Yep, got that. Okay. Okay. I think this is the clip. Okay, this is from
You want
5D.
nothing more than to have them. Sebastian to be home.
You mean to tell me everything that's tragic in your life, you don't ever stop? You lose somebody in your life, and all you do is you just sit there and have the negative times, and you don't stop to have and reminisce. Well, I remember when Uncle so and so or Grandpa did this and Grandpa did that. Like, you don't ever do that?
Right. Probably
Yeah,
these
I mean,
people
we
out
enjoyed
here.
having Katie up here. I mean, is she holding up all right?
Like these people out here stay miserable like that, in my opinion. Like they don't understand it. Real life, I mean.
Right.
Well, here's all right. So I'm not going to get religious on this aspect of this, but there's a saying, a Native American saying, that they say that when you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. But when you die, the world cries and you rejoice.
Doesn't the Bible say something like that too?
That's beautiful.
I believe that. Yep.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
God, Edgar, that's so beautiful. Oh, we love you, Edgar. We love you. We love you, Edgar. We do. FBI, open up! Oh, I love you, Edgar. That's so beautiful.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I remember the one creator who was a little yellowish in the skin tone. Anyways, they were talking about your arms with the dog.
That's me. And you know what? You don't even know what you're talking about. You must have heard it from another creator. You know that? So it wasn't me. Okay. Sorry.
Dogs, and they said, "Oh, he said that he was cutting the dog's nails."
Yeah, they call me Jaundice. They call me Jaundice. And she's the cheese. She's the cheese, and she's calling me Jaundice. Okay.
Nails. Why was he cutting the dog's nails?
Thanks
the kid
for
is missing.
watching.
The dog
Thanks for watching, Belinda.
can wait. It's like you're not
I didn't
supposed
say I
to.
was cutting dogs' nails. I said I was
Oh.
playing with my dogs. But
Oh, well, he said that. But anyway,
Yeah.
And I actually addressed Belinda here, the cheesy woman, and I played it. Toe cheese. I said that he said he was playing around with the dogs. They bite him, and then Katie I know these interviews like that. And then Katie said, "We were clipping their nails. We were clipping their nails." And they scratch.
Yeah.
It's like you're not supposed to tend to your dogs. You know, you're not supposed to bathe your dog or groom your dog just because your child is gone. I mean, hello.
You know what you're not supposed to do? This is what you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to stay at home. Stay in the vicinity, not go on vacation, not sit on the Harleys, not go to Myrtle Beach, do the interviews, keep doing the interviews, all of that. And right, they had to, it was a poor job clipping if they didn't do it the right way. So I guess they were clipping their dog's nails, you know, within 96 hours or so after Sebastian went missing. They were playing around in the floor with Edgar had to be playing around in the floor with the dogs so we could get, you know, all cut up on his arms and scratched and all of that. And then just wear his shirt. And I mean, he must really like to get the shit scratched out of him. Must really love it.
I mean, life cannot stop. You still have to take care of your animals, you know? But that's how it's twisted.
I'm aware of that.
And you were playing with your dogs, eh?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, but I mean, if something,
But this is the thing. I don't believe him. I do not believe him at all. What did CP say? Yeah, these Morkies. Damn. They must really tear you up. It's pretty hold on. What did you say? I don't know, what was that comment? I think it might have been was it lawyer? Yeah, your life pretty does much stop when your child comes up missing. Well, it did for Seth. It did for Seth, right? I mean, they got a bunch of excuses. You know what? I'm sure that they'll have a good time writing them one day. You have reached the detention center.
something tragic happens in people's lives, don't know. You should take the time to mourn, think, whatever. But at the same time, you have to get up and move on.
Right. And I'm
Edgar,
sure you have I'm sure every day you're dealing with this emotionally. So if you can laugh a little bit, you have to.
I don't have time to be emotional. I have a wife to take care of. I have a
Right.
daughter. I have bills.
You have a wife to take care of? You're gone for a month at a time, Edgar, right? Come on. Move on. Yeah.
I have a house. I have things that have to be done, and I have a family. So I don't have the time to be an emotional person.
You have a Cruella.
I stated my piece, and things after that, things have been great. But I also understand that they have a job to do, and I have to go by that. And I've been happy ever since. There's some folks involved, creator-wise, that know this. They're just choosing not to
Right.
accept it. They feel, there can be something else done. Well, cool. If so, then let's have it. What else can be done?
I mean, I could tell you things that he told to me Like on the first day, he looked at me and, he hadn't even been back for like 2 hours or 3 hours. And he looked at me, what are you going to do if this goes south? And I looked at him, I said, what are you talking about if I go south? What are you going to do if he's dead? And
Can you imagine what he said? Yep. What are you going to do if this goes south? What are you going to do if he's
like, and he looked at me, what do you mean?
They feel, oh, there can be something else done. Well, cool. If so, then let's have it. What else can be done?
I mean, I could tell you things that he told me. Like on the first day, he looked at me and, he hadn't even been back for like 2 hours or 3 hours. And he looked at me, what are you going to do if this goes south? And I looked at him, I said, what are you talking about if I go south? What are you going to do if he's dead? And like, I'm going to walk out of this house because if I do anything else, they'll put me in handcuffs.
guys? That is 5D's channel. Let me see if I can. Here is a link to 5D's channel. Why is it not? 1 second. Make sure y'all sub up to it. 5D. I don't think 5D comes. I've never seen 5D in here, I don't think, but they might catch the replays. Yes, that is horrible. Horrible. 5D is a clip channel. It's a clip channel. Let's see here. I'll show it to you. That's right. That's right, Tony. It's going to go south for some people. Then it's coming. It's coming. Hey, Nanny needs Zanny. How are you, honey? This is 5D. And he's a clip channel that really is very supportive. Very, very supportive. Hold on. I want to see this. I have not seen this.
Foremost things on my mind was how their demeanor just did not seem appropriate for the situation at hand. The first one I took a look at was from March 18th, conducted by YouTube creator Chronicles of Olivia, in which Chris and Katie were similarly unemotional, but it wasn't just that. When Katie would speak, she would typically look straight ahead, around, sometimes behind the camera at Olivia, but almost never at her husband. And throughout the entire interview, she just seems kind of emotionless. Chris, on the other hand, would speak looking directly into the camera while almost never looking at Olivia or even his own wife. And when he would express emotion, it was the wrong one. He would laugh, he would smile, he would seem almost giddy on certain occasions. And like I said, Chris and Katie almost never look at each other throughout this entire conversation. But when they do, it's just on a few occasions when someone's answering a question. And
you can tell. I mean, it's cringe, right? Their interviews. It's cringe. It's absolutely cringe. These two, the way that they do interviews. 5D/lore lodge. They either look like they're like rigid and stiff and all of that, or KK cannot look anybody in the eye. She was pissed because Olivia, probably.
It's weird because They answer a lot of questions without looking at each other. It's just these 3 specific times. Like in one case, while answering a question about the events of Sunday the 25th.
Right, like when you're talking with someone, you generally look at them, right? Is that where we went? You know, or whatever. You know.
5th, before Sebastian disappeared, she paused, looked at Chris, and then says, we went and picked up our niece. Yeah, I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. Unfortunately, there wasn't much that I could compare the physical aspects of this interview to, because even when they had the ability to use video when calling into a show, they chose not to in most interviews. That said,
Hold
there
on.
were still other videos of them.
What? Hold on a second. Brandy and Indy says, look at pic of Sebastian between C and K. Isn't this the same pic of Sebastian and Costco, just photoshopped in different clothing? I'm asking. The toy crane is so extra. Yeah, it is. Wanted to be like good old stepdaddy. Edgar Thien. Canadian Nana, how you doing, darling? I've been here since Justin's first day. I hate all creator drama. Merry Christmas to Justin family. Love you, sweet Canadian Nana. Thank you, Sugar Plums. Thank you, my dear. It was a prop. It was a prop. What do y'all think? Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull that picture up. Sebastian. It's interesting. I don't know, but it looks very similar to it. I'll have to compare them pretty closely together. That's interesting. Zelda, how you doing, darling? 10 months. Yay. Thanks, Justin. Thank you, my sweet Zelda. Thank you for your support as well. Really do appreciate you and Canadian Nana very much. Also want to thank Debbie357 coming in clutch with a membership. Thank you, Miss Debbie357. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to you as well, my loves. Thank you so much. It looks very similar. There's nothing that would surprise me with these greens. Nothing that would surprise me at all. YouTube land have to remind a mother after 10 months that she needs to be begging and searching for her son. Yep. It's a good question, isn't it? That that's a post pic. I don't know if she was asking. They do look a lot alike. And yeah, the Optimist shirt. Yep. Hey, Marlena.
And someone's answering a question. And it's weird because they answer a lot of questions without looking at each other. It's just these 3 specific times. Like in one case, while answering a question about the events of Sunday the 25th before Sebastian disappeared, she paused, looked at Chris, and then says, we went and picked up our niece. Yeah, I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. Unfortunately, there wasn't much that I could compare the physical aspects of this interview to, because even when they had the ability to use video when calling into a show, they chose not to in most interviews. That said, there were still other videos of them, and while I had been under the impression that Olivia's interview on March 18th was the first one the Proudfoots had done, I was alerted to an earlier one by the Sebastian Rogers subreddit, one conducted by WSMV News on the 5th of March. Where the Proudfoots had largely appeared emotionless during their interviews with Nancy Grace and Chronicles of Olivia, in this one for the news, Katie at least looked much more the part of the scared mother that you would expect to see. Her voice trembles and she noticeably rocks back and forth as she speaks about the incident. And this is something that I then went back to look for in other videos. And I found that in the Nancy Grace interview, the angle that she's sitting at makes it a little too hard to tell if she's moving back and forth. But in terms of overall movement, Katie remains extremely still in that interview, like very still. In the Chronicles of Olivia one, however, I did catch a gentle yet perceptible rocking motion on a few occasions. But that WSMV News video is very heavily edited, and the Proudfoots are really only shown on screen for a little over a minute, so you can't get much from it. Now, I'm not a behavioral expert, and the most I can say is that I've gone and watched behavioral experts talk about these interviews, but I have not gone through enough analysis yet, so I'll get to those in the part 3 of this series. But what I will say is that it wasn't just the demeanor. In addition to that somewhat strange demeanor displayed in these videos, some of the things that Katie said about the day before Sebastian disappeared struck me as odd, and in some cases, things were inconsistent between appearances. The first instance that caught my attention was the way in which Katie Proudfoot described the events of the morning before Sebastian went missing. And this was beginning around 58 seconds into that interview with Chronicles of Olivia. Katie tells Olivia, "We got up and, fun fact, I made breakfast that morning. We had a good time, we were laughing, we were joking, and he talked to the family on the phone during breakfast to brag." Aside from the choice of words being a little strange, it struck me as odd that she included that little detail about her making breakfast. If it were just her and Sebastian in the house, and at no point has she ever talked about Sebastian liking to cook, who else would have made breakfast that morning? Details such as this can be evidence of a fabrication, though not always, as somebody with a keen eye for detail is likely going to give those kinds of responses. Someone who gives a very specific detail amongst a sea of vague answers, however, should be viewed with a little bit of suspicion. The other strange part was her saying that Sebastian had called his family members to brag, as if that was just something kids normally do on a Sunday morning. And even if it were something that kids normally do on a Sunday morning, which in my experience it wasn't, what was he bragging about? And while that comment about bragging didn't appear in the WSMV or Nancy Grace interviews,
there's a lot of different things. Fun fact, Google it, y'all. Google it. Breakfast. It's weird. I've never heard anyone say it's a very bizarre statement. Lakeside, very bizarre. Like, I don't know. It just seems like they were gone all weekend. Like they needed to be out of that house. Mimosa. Yep. He has an autistic brother. Yes. We made spaghetti pancakes. And then we called Cruella, Grandma Dearest. And, he wanted to brag. So we bragged a little bit. And then that's about it. She's so bizarre.
Did appear in a March 17th interview hosted by a YouTube creator called Duchess and her panel. In that appearance, Katie said much the same thing that she had said to Olivia, telling the panel, "Sunday morning we got up and I made a fun breakfast for us. Spaghetti pancakes. Google it, y'all." Once again, just weird phrasing under the circumstances. And also, who tells somebody to Google a recipe while talking about their missing son? I mean, at this point, Sebastian had been missing.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I've said that. You're telling people to Google a recipe while you're pleading for your child. You know, like the only thing that makes me think that he's still here is comments like that. Right? We made spaghetti canned pancakes. Google it, y'all. You know, like he'll go around the walls and he'll hide here and do this and do that. You know what I mean? It's like something's not right upstairs or you're just cold-hearted. One or the other. You know what I mean? All to paint a picture of what a great mom she is. Yep. Very much like Candace. Everything was rosy that day. Flowers, rosy this, rosy that. So yeah, you're right. Oh, thank you, Lakeside. Thank you, darling. You're so sweet. Thank you so much for your support. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Very much. Spaghetti pancakes, colossal popcorns, and then ate all of the food on his plate. I mean, that's a big appetite that day, right? And I'm sure they got something at the bowling alley. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
For a solid 3 weeks, and there were no leads. And she's talking about spaghetti pancakes and bragging about how she made breakfast. In any case, she continued saying, "We FaceTime family while we were eating so he could brag, because that's something he likes to do. And we were laughing and joking on FaceTime and having a good time." I do want to say, I understand that Sebastian is on the spectrum, and maybe this calling family to brag thing is something that he likes to do. But in multiple interviews, Chris Proudfoot said that his son was kind of struggled speaking to adults, even family members. But after this, she said, "We got a call to go and pick up our niece," which matches what she told Olivia in the interview that was released the day following this.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit that the phrasing here of who was being called, who was going to pick up the niece, whose niece it was, and who all was actually there along for the ride that day did send me down a rabbit hole trying to figure out, if there were any inconsistencies here, but it ultimately led nowhere, at least not in relation to the niece. But as I sifted through more and more interviews, I came across further inconsistencies in the narrative given by the Proudfoots. One of these was with regard to what happened between 9 p.m. when Katie told Sebastian to go to bed and midnight when Katie herself went to bed. According to the first version of the story given by Katie in the interviews from March 3rd, 5th, and 17th, she sent Sebastian to bed at 9 p.m., and that was the end of it. Other interviews, however, add a detail. In the interview on the 18th, Katie said he was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep."
So think about this, because we talked about, I don't know if it was yesterday or this morning, in one of the interviews, the first interview, Katie said to Duchess that Sebastian went to bed around 9 o'clock, and then she fell asleep on the couch at 10 o'clock. So how would she would have never heard him. She would have never heard him. There would have been no thud or anything, because she did not go get off the couch until midnight. Justin, would they even, who would even call to brag? They said they had no friends. Wasn't that CP's family didn't care for him? So who? They called to brag with, I think it was Edgar's sister. I'm probably mixed up, but a thud would make me run. Would make me run. It would make me run to it when it comes to your kid. You know? I see you may not be here. A personal thank you and Merry Christmas. I see you've done so much. She brought me here. Oh, that's very sweet. I'll take a screenshot of that. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my dear. Okay, then what's on his chest in the car picture? He had a breastplate there, but I don't think he was wearing the breastplate that day. Right, Justin? And she was on the phone with Edgar during that time, right? Up until 12. Yes, but the thing is, what I'm saying is, the first interview, KK told Duchess that she fell asleep or Sebastian went to sleep at 9. She fell asleep on the couch at 10, and she woke up from the couch at about midnight. And then she went to go to bed. And that's when Edgar interrupts and said, me and the mother were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 after they just said went to bed at 10 o'clock. She went to bed at 10 o'clock on the sofa. It is all kinds of screwed up. It is all kinds of screwed up. You can't, he would have talked to her for like literally 16 minutes.
It's not proof of anything that this only appears on the 18th, but I do wonder why she would not include that detail in previous conversations. And that Chronicles of Olivia interview is much shorter and much less in-depth than either of the ones with Duchess. So I'm curious why it is that she gave 3 interviews, not mentioning any hearing a sound.
Chronicles of Olivia interview, though, is so telling. So telling, in my opinion. Katie screws that up so bad.
10 p.m. and then suddenly she remembers it. And in another interview on the 20th, this time with the YouTube creator Smiley Stories World, she reiterated that statement with only a minor change to the verbiage. Instead of go to sleep, it was you're supposed to go to sleep, which would be absolutely no problem if not for the interview with Nancy Grace 5 days later. You see, Nancy asked specifically about what Katie described to her as a thud heard around 10 p.m., saying, you said, look, I don't care what you're doing in there, go to bed, is that right? And this time, Katie said that her exact words were, Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? And he said, no, ma'am. And I said, well, whatever you're doing in there, knock it off and go to sleep. While I'm not going to say that this is what happened, it does almost seem like the story told by the Proudfoots changes as public opinion shifts. Initially, he just went to bed around 9, but then we have this additional detail about a thud heard around 10 p.m. And the thing is, people did not react well in the chats and the comments section to the fact that after hearing this thud from her autistic son, Katie did not go check on the boy. So then they go on Crime Stories on the 25th.
That's so bizarre. I'll never get over that. Yeah. Thud. I don't care what you're doing in there. Like, that's like an oxymoron. Like Edgar. Thud. I don't care what you're doing in there. Knock it off and go to sleep. What? They are probably so paranoid, Mohawk, by now, in my opinion, that they don't even speak to each other. They probably write each other. Here's her pen. It has a red flag on it. Dear Edgar, what story should we come up with now? Question mark. And they pass it to each other because they think everything's bugged. Everything's bugged, probably. That's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be speaking. I'd be like, here you go. Even the paper's bugged now. Yes, it's AI paper. Edgar KK, it's AI paper.
And this time, it's not just that she heard a thud, and it's not just that she said, you know, keep it quiet. It's also that she asked if he was okay first, and that he responded to her. So she wouldn't need to check on him because he was okay. I will say, in another interview, the excuse that she gave for not going to check on him at all that night is that he was a teenage boy, and, you know, you don't want to accidentally walk in on anything, as if knocking on a door is not an option. That said...
That's right. That's exactly right. You don't want to... I mean, who says that? Who says that about their 15-year-old son, first of all? Who even thinks about that? Ugh. It's ridiculous. Susan Smith, yeah. Oh, what was it? She's going to be telling the popo to Google it, y'all. Are you decent?
In her defense, my little brother is on the spectrum in what appears to me to be at least a similar way to Sebastian. And I was asking my dad about it, and he did tell me that if he heard a thud from Liam's room, he wasn't going to think anything of it. So like I said, it's possible that her story was shifting with public opinion, but I also think that maybe
I mean, if there's a thud, and it's especially just you and your son there, and he's got water pockets in his head, even if you know, you've got to check on him before you go to bed. Between that thud, if you don't check on him then, you've got to check on him before you go to bed. It's crazy.
Opinion was harping on the wrong thing there because, again, Sebastian's 15. You know, he's not going to hurt himself falling off a bed probably. But in any case, this was not the only thing that changed between those early interviews and the Nancy Grace appearance. Because the nature of what Katie was actually up to in those 3 hours before Sebastian went to bed and she went to bed is pretty unclear. In the interview from the 3rd, Duchess, speaking to Katie, said, "You fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. And then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight." And rather than allowing Katie to answer the question that she had just been directly asked, Chris cut in to explain what happened. And he began by saying, I
have actually not watched this Laura Lodge.
Actually a piece of, so to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board, me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. And
that's the thing. That's the thing I was just saying a minute ago. You can't say Sebastian went to bed at 9. There was no thud in that story. There was no talking to Edgar in that story. There was nothing except he went to bed at 9. You fell asleep on the couch at 10. And at midnight, you woke up and went to your bedroom. But Edgar pops right in there. Let me do this. Me and the mom, who talks like that, number one? Me and the mom were on the phone. The phone call was very lengthy. We were on I called at 9:43 or 9:46. Well, that's a problem because KK said she fell asleep at 10. You couldn't have talked to her more than, 14 minutes, 16 minutes max. Oh, it's very distancing language. Yes. Yes. Now the mom can't find her son, is what he says there. Now the mom can't find her son. And Cruella, she says that boy. Oh, Justin, you have to watch the whole thing, but big thing I got out of the video is they started court papers in 2022 to get Faith. Then by that house in 2022, then tried and looked at boys' homes in 2022. Lauren Lodge also called Edgar out on his lies on how old his daughter was. Oh, yeah.
And this was followed by the unprompted information that the call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included, even though it appears no.
Okay. Whenever Duchess says, now you guys, hold on, what did she say? Anyway, Edgar goes, I was out of town. The phone logs have been verified. Nobody was even asking you that, Edgar. Right? Are you paranoid? Like, if you're, God forbid, your child went missing, right? And you were out of town and you was doing an interview, would you say, I was out of town, the phone logs have been verified? Think about that. Think about, would you say something like that? And you probably wouldn't. Because you're not thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about yourself. You are thinking about, where the fuck is my kid right now? Right? When you are not worried because you know you're not a suspect and you did nothing wrong, you don't care about you. It's not about you. It's about scrambling to find your kid. Right? So, just like the other day when he was up on Truth's panel, when he got triggered, he just makes himself look like an idiot even more when he does that stuff. All he's like, don't say I was in there. Right. I mean, you're the one that told them that it pinged off the router. Right. I'd say you can think what you want, but you're wrong, and I'm not going to waste my time on it, and you're wasting your time on it thinking I'm a suspect, and it's never going to come to fruition. And the proof is in the pudding, and one day you're going to see I'm not a suspect. Onward and upward. I'm here to find my kid. Who cares? He cares. Allegedly, his truck was those fuckers. Ellie didn't even know it was my truck. CP. What did I tell you? What did I tell you guys? His and KK's relationship with law enforcement has changed. I bet anything, it has changed. He used to paint this rosy. They are doing everything they can. They are amazing. All of that. And now it's those mother. I said this even before I knew that the other day. I said, I don't think they're talking to the police anymore, in my opinion. You don't go from all kumbaya to those motherfuckers. It's coming, guys, in my opinion. Whoever or whomevers did this to Sebastian, whatever, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. And I said this on a panel the other day. I think Eric Craddock gave that little update and said, yeah, we have stuff, that we can't show you because of the investigation. Because if you notice, I think that was a little line from his fishing pole. Eric Craddock just put it out there, dropped, and let that sit to the person or the persons that did this to this 15-year-old boy, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, that they have stuff. And whoever did this should be worried. They should be absolutely worried. Yep. I vote the FBI very special agent John Grusing, who interrogated Letitia, would be the one to question both KP and CP. Heck, I'd settle for him. Watch. Yeah. Remember, Edgar, if you'll notice in a lot of his interviews, he would say, they have nothing. They have nothing. We have nothing on Sebastian. There's nothing. He would say that all the time. And Eric said, we have stuff. We have stuff. So I thought that was Edgar said that last week. They have nothing, y'all. They have nothing. If that makes you sleep better at night, but Edgar, whenever Eric says he has stuff, right? Did you say Court TV saying more video from TRH? Did you say or see, Julie? I think there is more. Yeah. Probably like Zen. Thank you so much, Julie. Appreciate you.
Nobody had asked. So far as I can tell, this is the first time that anybody had told this part of the story to the media. So I just don't understand the need for a disclaimer there, as if it was a question that he had been asked on other interviews. But he continued saying, we stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I said, hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up. And finally, Chris said, now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight. So in this version, Katie got on the phone around 9:45 p.m. and then began to nod off around midnight. In the March 17th interview, the story is much the same, with Duchess asking Katie to walk me through exactly what transpired during that time before you went to bed at midnight. And again, I want to emphasize was walk me through exactly what transpired, okay? Because this is important. Katie told the panel that she and Chris usually talked at night and that Katie frequently started to fall asleep before they had hung up. And Chris would tell her, wake up, you got to go to bed, in this case, around midnight. From there, she says she got up and put the puppies up before turning in for the night. And then the next time I could find this period being discussed was during that Nancy Grace interview on the 25th, in which Nancy asked Katie what she was doing between 9 p.m. and midnight. And this time, Katie replied, I had been reading a chapter that I needed to, and I had been talking to my husband on the phone. And this was a detail that she had not mentioned prior. And as I said, Duchess asked her to describe exactly what transpired. So where did this detail come from, and why was it not present a week earlier? But Katie elaborated, I was falling asleep on him, so that's when he told me it was around midnight. He told me to go ahead and put the dogs up and go to bed, and that's what I did. Later in that same interview, Nancy would ask her to clarify what she was reading a chapter for. She said for school, but what? And she said that it was for a business administration course at DeVry. And along with the evolving details of that night, another thing that caught my eye was that phrasing of put the dogs up. It's weird because in that interview with Duchess and her panel from the 17th, Katie had told the panel that when Sebastian gets up to get snacks in the middle of the night, the dogs don't bark at him because he shushes them. So what is meant by put the dogs up? In order for him to shush them, he would
Yes, they would have to bark as well. And we know that they barked in the Hands interview.
Have to walk past them. And according to Chris and Katie Proudfoot, in every interview where they discussed it, Sebastian's room was on the ground floor.
Bingo.
Because they live in a ranch-style home that has a bonus room above the garage. And again, the reason that this is a problem is because in all of the interviews where the Proudfoots talk about the layout of the home, they tell everybody that Sebastian's room is on the south side of the home, and that the bonus room over the garage, well, that would be on the north side of the home. So if the dogs were being put up, that would imply that they were being put up in the bonus room. But Sebastian doesn't pass the bonus room to get to the kitchen. So what's meant by put the dogs up? I'll be honest, this could be a total nothing burger. It was just, she kept saying it every single time. It's one of the only consistent things she says in these interviews, and it makes no sense given the layout of the house as they've described it. They say that Sebastian has to walk past the dogs to get to the kitchen, but they also say put the dogs up. I know I'm repeating myself here. It's weird. Of course, none of this is really a smoking gun, but it is, in my opinion, enough to question the reliability of the stories being told, especially if other factors.
Well, they certainly changed a lot of things. They also added a bunch of things, and they certainly messed up the times, and it just doesn't make sense at all.
Of the situation are considered, such as the manner in which Chris conducted himself during interviews. Throughout the appearances made by the Proudfoots, one thing I noticed is that Chris very much seemed to be in control of the narrative they presented, and he was the one fielding most of the questions. But then upon closer inspection, I noticed that he also frequently avoided answering questions. He would say something that would sound almost like an answer, but it would avoid the substance of what he was being asked.
Yes. He is just like the other day when he was speaking about the trash truck. He was speaking about the trash truck across the street from the doorbell that it captured. But he said something like, but it's not the one on the corner. Well, that's the whole camera we were talking about. He's trying to screw with people's minds here.
Now, Katie, it seems, did this too, but there was really only one instance that stuck out to me, and that was from the March 17th interview. I believe it was Duchess, but it might have been another member of the panel who asked, how many pairs of...
So the geofencing, Edgar says it was because the geofencing showed him home at 1 o'clock on the 26th. Now, I think he's absolutely, in my opinion, lying. Because why would they ask you if you was about you being home at 1 o'clock when you had just pulled in and all the police are there? Why would they ask you about your vehicle pinging on your router whenever you were there with the police? Makes no sense whatsoever. Their vehicles are pinging on the router. Their phones are pinging on the router. Handshaking, rather. Not really a ping. No sense. But there was only 2 vehicles within that time period that pinged. Now, the way he says that, now think about this. This tells you, in my opinion, that he really is not telling the truth, in my opinion. Because at 1 o'clock, again, and again, he said 2 vehicles or 2 devices shook hands with that router. 2. And one, and Edgar says, that's my truck. And they said, well, it's never pinged to that router before, which is very, very odd. Something's up with that. But regardless, if there's 2 that shook hands with that router and one of them is his, and there's 500 people there looking for Sebastian right now, it can't be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It can't be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If 2 devices pinged on that router, then it can't be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It can't be. Not even a little. Because there's 500 cops there right now. Emergency, all of that. When would be a good time that there would probably only be 2 devices that shook hands on that router? I don't know, between the 25th, the night of the 25th, into the early morning hours of the 26th. There you have it, folks. Good night, Carol. 3 a.m. Indeed, indeed.
Shoes does Sebastian have? Katie answered saying, I'm not going to tell you how many shoes he has, but I will say that all the shoes he has are accounted for. Beyond hiding some form of severe neglect, I cannot fathom a reason to completely withhold this information. While I could understand not giving an exact number because any deviation from that given number could engender suspicion from the internet, I don't understand not at least giving an estimation like, oh, he's got about half a dozen pairs. He has about 4 pairs. He has about a dozen pairs. But then after one of the panelists named Crystal said that she didn't quite hear Katie, Chris clarified that she said she would not divulge how many pairs of shoes she has, but law enforcement has accounted for every pair of shoes.
Well, you can't turn off the Wi-Fi in the vehicle. It's either you use it, you enter the password when you set it up, or you just don't.
And Katie then, without prompting or missing a beat, followed that up with what to me sounds like a correction. when she said, "I have accounted for all of his shoes." Now, personally, I feel like the panel probably should have followed up on that, but they didn't, and Katie once again claimed that all of his shoes are still accounted for inside the house still during their appearance with Nancy Grace. Now, during that interview, as well as several others, Chris avoided, refused, or simply failed to answer numerous questions, and in some cases for reasons that I just find utterly bizarre. The first one I want to address came when Nancy was asking about the make, model, and year of the cars driven by the couple, and Katie answered that she drove a 2017 Infiniti SUV. Chris, on the other hand, simply said that he drove a diesel truck, specifically a Chevy, and did not give a year. So Nancy followed up and said, well, what was the year? And Chris said he didn't know off the top of his head, but he thought it was probably a 2021 model. Now, this wouldn't always strike me as odd, but in this case, Chris had given several extremely specific answers earlier in this very interview, as well as in an early interview from March 3rd, again with Duchess. Now recall, in that March 3rd interview with Duchess, he was able to tell her 2 very specific times that he may have gotten onto the phone with his wife, 9:43 and 9:46 p.m. And you know, most people under those circumstances would say around 9:45. And then earlier in that Crime Stories interview, he had told Nancy Grace that the time from his doorstep to his job site in Memphis was exactly 3 hours and 37 minutes. You know, leaving aside the fact that travel times are almost never consistent down to the minute across distances such as the 229 miles between Stafford Court and St. Jude's in Memphis, it's pretty hard for me to believe that. One big reason for that is that Chris works in construction, which means that the specifications for his work vehicle are going to be extremely important to him. When purchasing a truck, he probably compared different brands and different model years and specifically chose 2021, especially considering that it seems like he's not struggling with money. That's also something I'm going to get to in part 3 because I have no idea where all of this man's money is coming from. And in addition to that bit, while anecdotal, I can't think of a single person I know who could not tell you the year of their primary vehicle. Aiden, what year's your truck?
1989.
What year's your Camaro?
2010.
Amanda, what year is my Altima?
2020.
What year is my Jeep?
2014.
I think I make my point. I think Chris knows what year his car was made. In the interview, Nancy didn't say anything that would suggest she caught this and kind of had the same thought, but the look on...
Guys, we're going to come back to this. I got to show you something. In the meantime, come on, why is it freezing? Okay. Look at this. Now, this is not very it's not very clear, right? It's not very clear. But okay. Sorry, I had to pull up something. Yeah. This is across the house from them. This is the house from across the street from the Peedfoots. Well, it's Mob Crew talked on it earlier. Hey, Mandy, are you in here? Oh, it's coming together, guys. Okay, Mandy, I'm gonna drop you a link. I'm gonna show you something. Now, you can see the garage doors, right? And all of that. Hold on, let me get this. Okay. Now I'm going to show you. Come on up, Mandy. Mandy's going to explain this. Mob Crew stated tonight that there is video of front of Proudfoot home the entire time. Yeah. Yep, there is. There is. And guess what? His light does not come on. You're starting your laptop. Okay. This is in front of the Proudfoot home. Right here. Hey, Mandy.
Hey.
Mandy?
Hey, what's up?
That would not be Mandy. Yeah, it's from Mob Crew. Yeah. I should have known it was spelled wrong. Oh, bless their hearts. To be something like that whenever you're trying to talk about a child's case. Go for it. It kind of did sound like Bombshell, didn't it? It kind of did, Sweet Sativa. It kind of did. Yeah, that was a voice changer. That was the voice changer 5000. The voice changer 5000. They are so. They really don't, Sweet Sativa. They really don't. It kind of did sound like Bombshell, though. Not gonna lie. You making me crack up now. Oh, I know it wasn't her. I know it wasn't her. It was a dude. It sounded like a dude. Justin, I talked to my son, and he has worked for the auto industry for the last 30 years, and my son-in-law as well, as they both. No, she's coming up in just a second. It did, Justin. I know it wasn't her, but either it is. Okay, Mandy. You're going to have to turn your camera on. If you don't mind. They probably did. 1985, they probably did. Santa baby, bring a voice changer for me. Been an awful good queen. Woke her up in a duper. Hello, darling.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Should I change my voice? Hello.
How you doing? Someone popped up when you popped up. I just banned him though.
Oh my goodness. I heard you say Mandy. Hi, Mandy. And I was like, no, not
I didn't
Mandy.
think it was like as soon as I heard it, I was like, you know how you like you're like, is that her? Let her say something else. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Oh, yep. One more word, please.
yeah. So what's up? What's up with these photos?
Okay, so you know the 3 a.m. footage has been discussed a lot, and the source that has been going around is from Twitter, and there were pictures that were posted on Twitter of the trash truck. Okay, the original photo in the top right-hand corner is that original photo.
Right.
The one right below it is what I got from Google. I just went to Google and did that. And then I tried to alter them a little bit so that you could
Right here?
see it. Yeah, that one's the Google Maps picture.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the top left is where I just added more contrast. I didn't lighten it up.
Okay.
But then I lightened the bottom one up more because you can see the front door. Like you can see the rectangle.
You can see it clear as day.
Yeah. So it is the house that's kind of catty corner. And I did see it from Mob Crew. I actually emailed him because he was asking about the light that's in the background. So if you look to all the way to the right behind the trash truck, there's a light back there. And he was asking about that. And then
behind the trash truck.
Yeah. Like if you look all the way on the right hand side of the photo.
These photos?
Yes.
Is this a trash truck?
Yes.
Right here, right?
Yes. And then go all the way to the right of it, which would be behind it, because right now it's facing towards our left.
Right. It's the hood is toward the garage doors.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the light is shining down on the road from behind the trash truck, but then if you look higher up all the way to the right, like directly under the O on original photo, the blue light below that, we don't know what that's from. That's not on the trash truck. And so
the trash truck, the light's in right here.
Yes.
Red,
so he was trying to figure out where that light was coming from. And I'm not 100% sure, but I did find some footage that I think will be helpful for him. So I emailed him that. And then I just thought it was really interesting because in the post of this picture that he shared, it said we have like 60 hours of security footage.
Who said that?
SF. And this is a screenshot from one of the camera angles that he has. The other one looked like it was on Kellen, maybe Kellen and Stafford. But so that's interesting that they have access to that footage.
I'm wondering, you know how I think you remember when the neighbors came over and showed them the footage to the Proudfoots?
Yes, the morning of.
Yes. I'm wondering, did they give the footage to them?
Oh, that could be.
I think that's how he probably got it.
That could be possible. I'm still curious why they didn't go ahead and show Seth. Because he said that he hadn't seen any of the footage. But is that Pay Girl? I don't want to say it wrong. It could be from anywhere. But it's not from anywhere, though. That's why I put the picture from Google Maps showing that is the Proudfoot home.
Oh, it is the Proudfoot. Let's look at this real quick, though. Let me find this.
Be nice in chat, you guys. Come on now.
Are the people being nasty?
Well, they're not big fans of SF. Okay.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Where would there be a light?
That's what I was trying to look for, and I couldn't get it at the right angle from where the camera is sitting. But it almost looks like it's back on like the common area, kind of.
Oh, you know what?
Is there a light post back there?
Yes, there's a bunch of lights. Let me look at this photo again.
Because I was trying to find something at night, that we could see the night vision.
Okay, there's the tree, and it's catty corner behind the tree. So in the garbage truck photo, it looks like it's right here. I think it's right there. I'm pretty sure it's right there. I tell you what, I'll show you something. Watch this. Because this will show you, because I remember this. Okay. Oops, wrong one. Okay. Oh, crap.
And Justin, they're asking to see Mob Cruise live. I have the timestamp of where he starts talking about it if you want to play it.
Sure. We'll play it in just 1 second. I just want to show you something right here.
Absolutely. I'm very curious.
Here we go. This is the Proudfoot's backyard, and this is the neighbors. See the lights?
Yep. And so if they're LED, then they would look like they have a blue tint, right?
Well, it can be fun. It just depends on the the camera and stuff. That the nighttime stuff can throw things off a little bit sometimes.
Right.
After the disappearance. Well, he got some really bad information then, because the lights were on that night, weren't they? At the house?
Their garage lights were on.
Yeah.
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 According to Chris and Katie, they were. So.
Well, but look at the pictures. You can see the garage lights on.
Right. And that's providing that this is from that same night,
That's true.
I question everything.
That's true. We've not been able to verify that. That's
Right.
true. Okay. Mob crew. So in my opinion, that's what that is.
Yeah, and that's very plausible.
Okay, what's the timestamp? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's right around 37 minutes is where he starts focusing. Now he shows the trash truck going down Kellen first, but where he starts showing it going on Stafford, it's right around 37 minutes.
Timestamps for everything, Mandy. You're just that good.
I try.
I think that's what that is. I really think that's what that is, that light there, in my opinion. Okay. We all know Chris from the Mob Crew. Make sure you are subbed to Chris. Good guy. One of the very few YouTubers that I actually believe that I know that actually has some integrity. And I think he's funny and he just doesn't know it. Like, he doesn't even try. Like, for instance, this.
Not possible because that area is not visible in the footage. My ass. As for the lights, we will leave for that everyone to decide on their own.
My ass. Okay.
He's, I don't know, like, he was just like, you know, he's so chill. You know what I mean? He's like so
Right.
chill.
So calm
And
about it.
he looks straight at the camera, dead at the camera. My ass. And he goes, as for the lights.
Right, and keeps right on rolling. Hi, Pickles.
Yeah.
I see you all. Hi, 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 hi.
Clearly debunked the hell out of that.
Clearly debunked the hell out of it.
His attention to detail is what I admire. You know, like, I admire you remembering, like, you talk about having a memory of a goldfish, but really you don't. Like, you remember a lot of detail that is very helpful and informative, you know. And I admire that in people, you know, like when you have those certain traits. And his attention to detail, like you said, he studied this footage for hours, you know, just sitting there staring at it. And I'm going to take his word over what he showed, you know, like he showed how the camera angles were not the same. And, you know, so I'm going to go with his word.
Yeah. Well, I know Chris. I know he talks to some of the same people I talk to.
Right.
I know for a fact. Like a fact. And he's very honest.
Up North Stafford Street. That is the garbage. That is the garage lights to the Sebastian home. That means they have this footage. According to them, hours of footage. Hours. Including the most important hours between noon and 5. To me, probably 2 and 4 or 3 a.m. Would be where I would start. Boom. As some of them like to say. That is the
Okay, you might go back just a
Okay.
few minutes, because I think yeah.
Tell me when. More or less?
Just a little bit more. Just 20 seconds more. Right there.
You guys are awesome. The amount of support for this channel and just Sebastian alone is amazing. Amazing. All right, so now we know it's on Stafford, right? At 5:10. So he released another snapshot, right? This one right here at 5:12. Now, of course, when it goes on Stafford Court, now it's going to have to do the same thing, where now he's not going to be hauling butt because now he's got to collect the trash on Stafford. So he's going to be kind of taking his time, going up Stafford. But as we can see in this photo, and I'm going to blow it up for those that are on the phone, well, we can definitely see that the picture that is taken is going to be on the left side of the house because it's going up Stafford Court. It's at 5:12. That adds up. They're slowly going up, collecting the trash. Taken at 5:12.
Hold on.
As we can see, it's on this side.
Where is KP's van there?
I was wondering that too. You can't see anything in the driveway. Like, it doesn't look like there's anything. Because wasn't the trailer around there somewhere too?
Uh-huh.
But the van is white. You should be able to see that for sure.
I'll be right back, guys. 1 second. I'm going to play this. We'll come back to this. I need to do something.
Okay.
To the road, that is Stafford, which makes sense. He's going up north. Now we know that the Sebastian Rogers home is on the east side of the road, which would be to the right of the trash truck. Well, for those that haven't already figured it out, guess whose house that is? Oh, thank you, Barb. That's right. That is the house that is kind of kitty corner, but more or less across the street from Proudfoot's home. And that was the trash truck going up north Stafford Street. That is the that is the garage lights to the Sebastian home. That means they have this footage. According to them, hours of footage. Hours.
I don't see that van.
Including the most important hours between noon and 5. To me, probably 2 and 4 or 3 a.m. Would be where I would start.
I don't see it either. I'm going back and looking at my pictures that I
there it
sent
is.
to you.
Right there it is. Might be.
Oh, maybe. Okay. See, the one I cut a little bit.
Right there.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
But that seems farther back.
It does. And it's all the way over, like towards the left of like the corner of the fence. But if the trailer is closer to the house, is that where it was? Because I know the trailer moved. Is Mohawk Mom here? I know she knows about the trailer.
The trailer did move.
So was the trailer beside the house on day 1 and then it was moved later? Okay, you guys I've seen a few people say it's the reenactment, but according to this picture, it is from February 26th, Monday morning at 5:12 and 41 seconds a.m. So this isn't a screenshot from the reenactment if we are to believe the person who posted it. So we're going with the theory that he's being honest and
not that trailer. We're talking there's a little trailer where you put like 4-wheelers or bikes on.
Right, or a riding lawnmower. Well, we haven't seen anything from 3 a.m., Sweet Sativa, that I've seen yet.
Can you zoom in to see if the back is really a trash truck or a construction truck? It's a trash truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, most of the lights here, except for the 2 on the garage, are trash truck lights. That trash truck lights always look like.
Right. Which is not what we see in the video that we've reviewed a bazillion times. And that's why I agree with what Chris said in this, the footage that we have been reviewing, the lights video and the car video, they're not from 5 a.m. I mean, like, okay,
I know
Chris
for a
said,
fact they're not from 5 a.m. Don't let anyone tell you differently.
right. He used the words in the post against the guy, though. It was great because he said at 5:09, like he threw the time back at him and he said, if we're to believe that, then the trash truck should be coming around the corner when that car turns their headlights on, and they would run right into the back of that car.
It's not. It's not.
So, right, there's no way it is.
Chris wants us to believe that, and by Chris, I don't mean mob, that this is part of that, and it's not the other video. They're
Right.
trying to make, they're trying to mix it all up. Oh, look how the trash truck makes a blue light on the road.
It is lighting the pavement up. And that's why we knew it wasn't a trash truck. That's why we said multiple times a trash truck has 2 headlights, 2 taillights, plus all of that exterior lighting on it. And
Well,
when we're
right here,
seeing
like the blue
right,
light, you see this?
right, because they have to be able to see when they pick up the can, the toter, to make sure that they're not hitting mailboxes with the arms, or, they have to be able to see what they're doing around the area that they're working in for safety.
Let's see. Right, because the blue light, they have blue lights in the back. Okay.
Right, baby kisses. Every light on the trash truck has to legally be working.
Yes,
Yep.
every single one.
Start.
Let me know if you want me to pause it.
Boom. As
Okay.
some of them like to say. That is the Proud Feet's home. Now, I will show, just for anybody that doesn't believe it, as you can see, the only tree on this road that is this tall, you can see the branches sprouting out. There's 4 main ones, and I'll kind of zoom in. This is looking across from it's coming from a ring cam. This is I believe a ring cam footage. And but yeah, you can clearly see the tree. You can see how tall this bad boy is. And I promise you, it's the only tree that is this tall on the neighborhood. And it lines up with the time frame of 5:12 and being on that side of the road. So we know it'd have to be on that side of the street. And on that side of the street, everything lines up. And I noticed at the bottom where he has the timestamp, you can actually tell that, and I know
This just shows you how far the ring cameras will see. Justin, am I tripping? Because wasn't we told that KP's SUV is baby blue and CB's SUV is silver? It is, yes. If so, does anyone else notice SUV caller KB Sebastian caller KP Sebastian get into? It's a baby blue. It is. It's like a bluey silver, if it makes sense.
it's probably hard for you guys to see, but you can actually see the base of the pillar here, right here. I tried to flip it. That's why everything's backwards, because obviously it would be flipped. And then we can kind of see the cement wall here, which would be this.
Hold
So
on.
that little bottom piece for anybody that's
So is it Janudi? That's what we thought. We thought the garbage men contacted police. That's what we were told. But that did not happen. The police contacted the garbage men. Did you see the text, Mandy?
The text
from the garbage company?
No.
Yes.
I did not.
I put them in my lab the other day. I'll find them and send them to you. The police. I'll find them. Hold on. Just give me a second.
I just sent you the it is the van. I just put it into my editing thing and
Just wondering
lightened
if
it up.
you've seen this.
Thank
That is
you.
where this is taken from, and you can see the doorbell ring cam right there. So once again, we'll zoom this in and then we'll look, and then I'll overlay the Proudfoots. But as you can see, as I zoom in here, I flipped it so you can see how the tree lines up. You got the skinny one, this one, you got the bigger kind of one that sprouts off. Basically 4 main branches, it's clear. And this thing is tall as heck. This is the home. I was going up all and down Stafford, and it's the only tree that's like that and is clearly, I don't know, 30 to 50 feet tall, somewhere in there. It's literally the only one, and we know that it had to be on this side of the road. And so there's not many homes to choose from to kind of figure this out. And then the porch as well, where he had the little screenshot with the timestamp, that was kind of also another dead giveaway, because I could see the base of the pillar in it. So with that, there's more to point out. Trust me, that's not just the only thing. So. Oh yeah. Yep, that's right, folks. This is the Proudfoots home, which means they have hours of footage facing the front of the home.
Bingo.
Hours. Well, according to them, but I'm pretty sure. And I'll line up some details for you as well, just for anybody that's still not convinced. But I promise you, the timing of the truck, and we would know it would have to be on the west side of the street. And then you just look for a tree that's got 4 big, branches coming out, and it's probably one of the tallest trees on that side of the road. It's not hard. Then when we kind of overlay, now the overlay is not going to look great. These lights here, and I'll explain where these lights are at, because it has to do with field of view and perspective. And we know that this camera is sitting way back there, and I'll show you an example of a couple things. And then we're going to study this photo real quick and point out some very interesting things. Because I see a lot of lights, and we're not talking about the garbage truck lights. I see a lot of lights, which concerns me, concerns the heck out of me. Again, you guys know how much I love attention to detail. So let me just explain. I know you guys are smart, but just for anybody that wants to try to deny this, let me just explain field of view. What happens when I zoom in? Okay, I can't see the houses on the left or the right, but when I back up, guess what? Now they get narrower. So, right? They're much shorter between. If I zoom in, they get wider and more spread apart. The reason I'm describing this is because the house that took the shot is going to be much further behind us because it's sitting on the house, which means these are now, according to its field of view, means those houses are even going to get closer together, right? Just basic science, logic and science. It's not hard. So this house, this light here, I just want to explain a few things. This light here is actually just coming from this light from this home next door.
I'm going to show you this real quick, Mandy.
Okay.
I'll send all of these to you. Remind me.
Awesome.
But this one, right here in the middle, it says it was our crew dumping the trash. They wanted to know if anything stood out, which it did not. They contacted them for whatever reason, and they wanted to know if anything stood out about either taking their trash or I guess around the house or something. Something we're missing here. Something we're
Well,
missing.
I was wondering if maybe they contacted the trash. I actually thought about this when he was talking about the trash truck going through the neighborhood. If they contacted them to see if they saw Sebastian in the neighborhood. You know, if the driver noticed, because they have to go slowly down the road to get the cans and stuff. So I figured, you know, they would probably reach out to the driver, but I had no idea that they actually did. So that's good.
They reached out to the trash company, and then how many days later they went and dug in 3 landfills.
Right. And so one of those was the construction dumpster landfill, correct?
Yes.
And then the other was a holding site.
Yes.
And then did they also go to the neighborhood trash landfill?
I don't remember the third one, but I know it was 3. Did they search? Dogs check the garbage trucks. I have no idea.
And day 10 was in Kentucky.
Day 10, yep. Yep. This one last question. You don't do pickups before 5:30 a.m., right? He says, yes, we do. Our crews typically leave the office around 4:30, and they typically start around at 5 a.m., which is right. You know, it's when they start their routes, 5 a.m.
So that would line up with the 512 being in the neighborhood.
Yep. They were looking for something, and
Right.
I wonder if they were looking for cameras or something. Yeah.
Very possible.
Here, now again, notice the lights aren't going to match up because obviously I don't have a shot from, you know, from the doorstep, you know, from the same angle. But as I said before, the more we back up, the more things are going to squish together, right? So this light here is actually this light coming up from this, I don't know if there's a bedroom or whatever. This light is actually coming from this home here. And these 2 lights are the garage lights over the Proudfoot's home. I just wanted to kind of explain that for anybody. Again, just kind of basic science, field of view, how, you know, how things work. Thank you. I'm just
If
very.
you talked, you were muted.
I'm very tenacious. All right, so let's break down now that we've figured that out. So now we know that we're looking at the Proudfoot home. So let's look at some glaring obvious concerns here. So we know that there are garage lights that are very bright, even though it's 5 a.m., which means these lights, the more the sunlight comes out, the lights are going to start to get dimmer because the sunlight obviously is going to start to, you know, blend that out. If it was to get darker, it would actually accentuate these lights. You know, just kind of how lighting works, right? So if it was, so this, even though this is 5:12 a.m. now, these lights, you know, at about 3 a.m. would appear pretty bright and stand out. Now, with that said, if we're looking at the front of the home of Sebastian, right? If he came out the front door, Well, he can either go left, right, or he can go towards the home.
Yeah.
Well, we know that he likely didn't walk.
I mean, it's so obvious, guys. This is going to show Sebastian leaving.
Exactly. That's why the picture I sent you, I pointed out you can see the front door, because if he walked out the freaking front door, you would see the door open. You would see movement. Even Chris Proudfoot himself said if somebody was on that front porch, it would have been caught on the Ring camera across the street.
Bingo. Nina, thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Thank you, my dear. Merry Christmas to you, dear. Yeah, I mean, he's got to go left, right, toward the garage, or toward the home, or he's got to go toward the camera. There's no other way.
Yep.
And guess what? He didn't. And I'm going to tell you something. If I was a police officer, I'd be like, we're going to sit here. We're going to sit here for 8 mother chicken hours. We're going to sit here for 8 mother chicken hours. And we're going to sit here and watch. Because this child did not go out that house.
And if you think about it, so now we know, I mean, we already knew, but this just solidified it. Now we know they have the perfect angle from the neighbors across the street for the front of the house.
I've known that, but I didn't see it, but I know that.
But you were keeping it. Shh.
Well, I've
and
known,
we
I've
also
known it, the whole house. I knew it did. Yeah. Sorry.
We also know that the commons area is covered by the other camera. So if he went out the way that Chris Proudfoot said that the dogs followed the scent, then he would be picked up on the other camera, and then he would have to walk all the way down Kellen if the dogs were following his scent, and he didn't get picked up on any of those cameras all the way. Look how good this camera footage is. Like, that's pretty darn clear. And in night vision lighting, I want to say this also. From my own cameras, I know this. The IR lighting, when you wear black, it looks white.
Uh-huh.
So him dressed in black,
weird.
he's not a ninja. He would stand out even more.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. The IRL lighting, it makes things look very bright. I mean, it does a really good job.
Yep.
So this is the thing. If someone doesn't believe after seeing this photo right here, right, of you could see a individual leave, then you're just wanting to not believe. I mean, it really.
Right. So it goes back to what we originally said back in the very beginning, before we had all of this factual evidence. He didn't walk out of the house on his own.
No, he didn't. He did not. He did not. There's only 2 ways that either that back door was used, or he came out of the garage.
Yep. And he wouldn't have used the back door on his own, because you have to have a key to lock that door. That door was locked, and he doesn't have a key.
That, and he was scared of the sound. And it's obvious. We're here. It's obvious. It's obvious.
But now we have factual evidence to back up what we've been saying this whole time. You know, I mean, it's just, so we haven't left the house. You know, as Chris McDonough says, we haven't left the house. We're still here. because there's nothing pulling us away from the house.
And when nothing comes out of the house, you have to look within the house. It's just that simple.
Yep. Yeah, there is a video. The investigators did the what's it called? The camera setup on the tripod in the backyard.
Oh, yeah, that was what was it? I don't know. Justin, what about the door on the side of the house by the fence?
Oh, that's the man door to the garage.
You mean by the garage?
There's a door on the other side of the house also, but that's to the the crawl space.
There's that little white door. That's the crawl space. You can't access that from upstairs.
The Pharaoh camera. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dawn. The Pharaoh. That's what I was trying to think of.
You know, it's obvious that, you know, like I've always said, you have, and this is before we had this, you know, but we did have the vehicle and the flashlights, right? You have no other evidence except that there's a vehicle that pulls in the road, that no one's going to do that in this neighborhood. There's no reason to. And then you have two, you know, one person getting out, two going up there, two people at least coming back, and then they do something around the trunk area for a little bit, or the, you know, the back part of the car. Then the person gets in the car, the other one runs back. And Chris and Katie says nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Well, it's miraculous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but if that was my missing kid, I would be like, we need to look into that a little closer, because that's all we have. But I don't think they want anyone to look into that closer, because the problem is one person ran back and didn't come back out because the car left.
Yep. I just dropped my channel link. I saw somebody was asking for it.
Please, y'all drop Spirit Seeker Squad's link. Y'all, come on, she's up here. Y'all got drop her link.
I'm self-promoting, okay? I'm taking full advantage.
No, please sub up to Mandy. You will not be sorry. She's one of the sweetest and best on here.
Stop it. I'm going to turn my camera off again. I'm going to start blushing.
He left in the car and there. You know. I think he made it. I think he made it home from the roadhouse personally. Do you think he did?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know if he took the trash out, but I think he made it home.
I think he took the trash out too, but something really bad happened in that house that night, in my opinion.
Yeah. And after
walk towards the home
learning,
because it would have been caught on door cam.
I was just going to say, after learning that he, not only is he on the spectrum, but he also was diagnosed with ODD, which is oppositional defiancy disorder. My daughter has ODD and my son is on the spectrum. My daughter, it's her birthday today, actually. And she's 22 and my son is 15. So I know a little bit about both, what I went through with my own children, my own experiences. And to have both of those together, plus ADHD, trouble sleeping, insomnia, you know, different things like that, it would be hard. It could be hard. One of the things that stood out to me was when Katie said, I told him to go to bed, and he did. You know, like that told me he didn't go to bed on a normal basis when he was told. It was kind of a fight, you know. I know that fight.
Big fight. I think it was a big fight. Yeah. Also, if you watch Sebastian at the restaurant, he follows behind his mother. He waits till she sits down first.
Yeah.
Then he sits down. He lets her out first. He walks behind her. This is not a kid that's going to walk out.
No,
This is not a kid.
people see it as like a respect thing, that he's being very respectful to her, which that could be, but I see it as she's his leader. He's following her lead.
Yep.
You know, my son does the same thing. He won't take off first when we're leaving a place that he doesn't know very well with a bunch of strangers around, you know, and he's taller than I am. It's just he follows my
You're
lead.
confident, you're there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Katie confirmed to Duchess that he was diagnosed with ODD.
Yeah, that's what Katie said.
Right.
No forensics done in the home. Law enforcement. I think
the parents have been very cautious about the way that they've worded things, but they've let out a little bit, you know, like one of them said, you know, we keep in contact and say, hey, you know, has he been staying out of trouble today? Or what trouble has he gotten in? Or I can't remember verbatim what they said. But, you know, certain things like that kind of came back after I learned about the ODD diagnosis. That doesn't mean he's a bad kid. You know, I mean, my daughter is an amazing woman now, but she was just defiant. And usually one of the things that, like, if you read the textbook, you know, Dr. Google, kids with ODD, they're usually pretty good for everybody except for their target person, is the way that I took it. So, no, oppositional defiancy disorder or defiant disorder.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually one or two people trigger them the most.
I still am my daughter's target. You know, like we bump heads more than, like, she's really good for my mom. She was really good for my grandmother. You know, she loves my husband to death. You know, she's a daddy's girl. But with me, it's just we bump heads. I'm her target.
Okay.
I love how helpful everybody is in the chat.
Contrast.
Doing things to help. Sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
Good. Yeah, they really are.
They're awesome.
They are amazing. What's this? It was a big light from flashlight video as screenshot.
There you go. Contrast. That's a better word. Thank you, Barb. Contrast. That's a much better word. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, you would lose and gain contrast depending on the sunlight. So, but if he headed right, this would be right from his house, but our field of view would be left. If he went left, it would likely, not saying 100%, but you would think there would be a decent possibility that you would see a shadow or a figure walking across if he went up Stafford, right?
1,000% would.
Not saying 100%.
1,000%.
Right.
Because, I mean, not only that, there's other cameras.
Right.
There's other cameras.
How bright those lights are, and considering this is 5:10 and not 3 a.m., and those lights would be a little bit brighter. It's almost like when scientists find new planets when they're looking at stars light years, billions of light years away.
Yep.
What do? They
check for the light.
They study the star and they look for two things:
movement and light.
They'll notice a wobble.
Yep.
And that wobble is because the gravity of the planet that's circling it is causing it, you know, because it's a tether thing. You know, anybody who's played tetherball or swing something around, it's the same thing. It's what the moon is doing. So it creates a wobble with the sun. The other thing they notice is that the light, when something's passing through, the light changes just a little bit. Obviously, when they're looking billions of light years away, the light changes a little bit. So if Sebastian were to walk across this and he was pretty close to his home, we should see some kind of disturbance in that light. Even if he's in all black, there should be some kind of little bit of disturbance in the light. Continuing on. Now,
right here. Yep.
So before I show the next one, so let's just look at. Oops, sorry.
You can clearly see this truck. Clearly.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
And somebody was asking about what a FedEx truck looks like at night. And
a box.
A box. Like a FedEx truck is a whole box. This is not a box.
Mm-mm. This is a dump truck. Or a trash truck, rather.
Yeah, it's a trash. You can tell the angle. Right now he has Sebastian over, but you can tell the angle of the back end of the truck.
Well, the trash truck people said that was them when they looked at the camera. They've looked at this video too.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Remember, because they wanted them to see if anything was odd. They've seen a couple different.
Sorry, guys.
Watch this.
Sorry. So again, if he came out, and if he even came to the street, I'm sure they would have probably caught him on door cam. But if he were to sneak, look, because there's a little walkway right there, right? Remember, poor kid's barefoot, allegedly. If he walked under these lights, you would see a disturbance, possibly a shadow.
You're going to see
you
that.
would definitely see something if he walked past this area to the left.
Right here are two lights. Right here. And they are on. They are on.
Right. Let me tell you before you hit play.
These leaves aren't there either.
My neighbor across the street during the summertime, so we live near a school and there are college kids that come around, and sometimes in the neighborhood the college kids will go through and check cars that aren't locked and steal stuff. Well, that happened in my neighborhood during the summertime, and my neighbor had the police come out and stuff, and so we went over to check on her and make sure she was okay, and she told us what happened. And I said, well, I have cameras on the front of my house that aim both ways, so I'll check my camera. Do you know about what time it was? She didn't. But I scrolled through my footage and I found it. But they were wearing all black. And, there were 3 of them. 2 of them were wearing all black. And one was wearing a lighter color, but it was IR, so I don't know for sure. But the black sweatshirts turned a whitish color. And the third person, whatever color they were wearing, they looked like a ghost. Mm-hmm. But that's exactly what he's talking about right here. Even if you can't make out his shape, it would still distort that lighting if a human walked by the lighting, So I totally get what he's saying there. And I'm sure I can do some testing out in front of my house if you guys want some IR lighting. I can put on a black shirt and a white shirt and go out there and play and dance with my unicorn in the front yard and, share the video.
Edgar said this made the police done their own testing. To me, this makes him look worse.
Oh, yeah.
Makes him look worse. Makes him look worse because you're clearly going to see. Because the IRL lighting, it can be pitch black. Mandy, you can go in like those wooden sheds or those metal buildings
Yep.
No windows in it. You close it, and it lights up as soon as that IRL kicks on,
Yep.
and it looks like it's sunny in there. It's so bizarre how it works.
Oh, I know. We have a camera set up in my son's room, because I believe in ghosts and stuff, and there's been activity in his bedroom, so we put a camera in there. It's pitch black in there. He doesn't have any night lights or any. He doesn't even really sleep in there very often. My husband works out of town, so he sleeps in my husband's bed. But and I have to sleep sitting up on the couch because my back. I can't sleep flat in a bed. Just putting it all out there. But so when I go in there in the morning, I'll pull up the camera to see where things are. Like if I don't know where the dog is, or I'll pull the camera up because it's too dark. I can't see, but I can see on the camera.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
And we catch a bunch of orbs in there too.
Ooh. Look for me ahead.
Oh my goodness.
That's gracious.
Glad you made it safe.
Look. As we're out, drinkers would act on holidays. Yeah. My son. Seth never said or verified Sebastian had ODD.
I've seen people in the chat say that they won't believe it until they hear Seth confirm it. So.
Past his garage. They have hours of footage. Hours. Do you know what I'd give to see that footage and break it down? I'd be happy to. I will break down every single pixel. If it takes me 50 years, I will do it to bring this kid home. But I will not put out a false narrative and claim that I've found vehicles and the drivers and blatantly lie and do half-assed jobs and then can't admit when they're wrong. Sorry. Moving on. Let's look to the right. There's another light right here. Now, I have not been able to figure out exactly where this is at. If anybody can figure this out, I would love to know. I only figured this out
I'll
like
email
3
him
hours ago.
about that.
So, God knows what else I can discover here.
I'll email him about that light, Mandy.
Okay. Awesome.
And because I showed you guys just a second ago. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah, it lines up with the roof.
I'll have to talk to one of my sources, but whatever this light is very bright. It's not the, for God's sakes, it's not the damn garbage truck, because I know some people are going to say it's the garbage
ding,
truck.
ding, ding, ding,
You can see
ding.
the end of the garbage truck right here. There's the tail light. Okay, there is a light. So now we have a light on the left side. So if he goes one side out of the front of
CB. So the person that told him that actually called me back the other day because something happened about that audio, and she's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I wasn't saying you were lying or anything. I was like, well, I've just told you that I can't verify it because you know why. They won't speak. And she's like, now I know. Well, because she told Chris that it wasn't real because she didn't have all of the info, I guess you could say. And what was it? day before yesterday or day after that, she called me. She did. She's like, because she watches me. She watches me.
Oh,
It's a neighbor. It's a neighbor.
that's awesome.
And she did tell Chris that. She told Chris, she said, I don't think it's real. But then a couple days ago she called back and she's like, Can we talk for a minute? I'm like, yeah. She's like, about that audio, such and such, and I'm like, mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm so sorry. Nicole, I cannot say the audio is real. I cannot tell you that. All I can tell you is that the people we believe it is will not speak. I believe the audio personally, but I don't care if you believe it's trash, if you believe it's real, if you believe you're not sure. All I know is what I know. All I know is I have gotten calls back from local authorities recently within the last 3 weeks. Yeah, hold on. It's today. Can't believe it's the 23rd.
I know. It's my daughter's birthday.
Today's your daughter's birthday?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's 22.
Yeah.
I can't believe I have a 22-year-old child.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem like it was 22 years ago.
I know. It goes by so quick, Mandy.
I know. My grandbaby's almost 2.
That's crazy.
She'll be 2 in February.
So cute. So cute.
Her perfect little curls and her perfect little dimples.
Oh my God, it's 2 a.m. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. I
You
got
tired?
up. I got up to come in here and get on my laptop.
Oh, thank you.
I was already laid down. That's why I have a bump on my head. I was sitting here looking at my hair like I look like horse poo.
No, you don't look like you always look pretty.
Thank you.
I mean, you can. Oh shit, Mandy, what I
That's
do?
okay. That's all right.
Where'd you go?
I don't know. It's okay though. You don't have to make me big.
I don't like it when it's like up like this. What was I gonna say?
Thank you, Trishy.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, the audio is disturbing. I'm not personally convinced of what I heard. To me, you can clearly hear whose voices it is if you know their voices.
But you have to hear it, and that's the thing. Like, I know, I do spirit box sessions. Some people can't hear EVPs at all. My mom, she is a full believer. She grew, the house I grew up in, she lived there too, like she had her own experiences with the ghost breathing on the back of her neck and whispering in her ear and stuff. So she believes. She cannot hear. She can't hear any EVP. Justin, I'm going to send you a link. I know you're not so much of a full believer. I'm going to send you a link. When my father-in-law passed away 4 years ago, he passed away on New Year's Eve. 3 days later, I did a spirit box session, and he says his first and last name like it's roll call.
Wow, that's cool.
And his first name is Terry. Okay, so it's not like John or James or something common. It's Terry, and I'm not going to say the last name because I'll dox myself.
Right? Yeah, don't say that.
But you can hear it. You can hear it. You'll hear it, and you'll know.
Wow.
My husband was at work and he's like, how did Dad know how to use the spirit box already? I don't know.
He figured it out pretty quick. See, a lot of people said, "Oh, that's a spirit box,"
Right. No,
and
it's not.
it's not a spirit box. I mean,
No.
it's spirit boxes. There's not multiple that speak to each other and having a conversation.
Well, they do speak to each other sometimes, but it's not a conversation like that, and it sounds different too.
You can hear
It's not.
with the spirit boxes and stuff, can't you?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not a spirit box. I was just referring to, because it's so low tone and the audio has been, like the levels have been changed, so you have to really hear it. Like at first I didn't hear it. At first I was like, I can't believe I can't hear it, but I can't hear it. When you played it last time after the subscriber Chris, is that his name, had altered the levels, I heard it. And I was like, oh, I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, Merge. See, that's beautiful.
It's not from a dash cam, Sammy. It's not from a dash cam.
We're going to do a paranormal live stream sometime where people can come up and share their ghost stories.
That would be good.
Because I want to hear people's experiences. I know yours, 110.
And I've never had one since. I never had one before that, and I hope I never have another one again.
Oh, I think it's cool though. It, like that was amazing.
I put a lot of energy in Summer Wells' case. A lot of energy.
I know. A lot.
And I pray to God.
And you went down there,
Many times. I've been down there many times.
I would love to go. I thought about going to Summer's Day, but it's a 9-hour drive for me. So I couldn't do it. But
that's a lot.
I mean, the first time I heard about Summer Wells, have I told you that? How I found out that Summer existed? I had a dream.
Yes.
I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning hearing, Dad is bad. Dad is bad. And that's all she kept repeating. And I woke up crying. And I just wrote down what I heard and went back to sleep. And later that day, it's when I saw Summer's face. And I was like, I knew as soon as I saw her face, I knew that was her voice.
This call. Mommy, Mom, help me. How anyone can think that those mother chickens didn't do something to their child is beyond me.
I will never understand. Never understand. If I hear one more person say, you think they're going to outsmart the FBI and TBI? They're freaking criminals. They're
Well,
lifelong criminals.
they're criminals. They're criminals. And to be honest with you, that house was so fucked up, you couldn't tell what was what.
Right.
You couldn't tell what was what in that house.
Yep.
Number two, they live out in the middle of nowhere. Nowhere. And there's not like cameras anywhere. The cell phone service, what you didn't get service then where they
Right.
were. Like you did not get service.
Yeah, I remember the police had to bring hotspot things in to be able to
Yeah,
communicate.
they had to bring a tower in.
Yeah.
If there was anything I could give to solve Summer's case, Michael's case, and Sebastian's case, it's Summer and Michael, they're overdue. I think
I'll tell
Sebastian
you.
should be solved.
I think so too. I do. I think that Monkeys will be also.
Yeah.
I think Summer will be found. I'm just worried about her getting justice. But I think that Monkey and Sebastian will be solved with justice.
Yeah.
I wish. Sorry.
You did very well in sets last night. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you were awesome. I was in tears. Oh my gosh.
I was sucking it in. And I couldn't look at Seth or I would start crying. So I was just like looking down and stuff because I couldn't.
Yeah, every time I looked at him, I lost it.
Poor guy.
I just wish we could find him today. Like, you know, I mean, the little bit that we know, law enforcement knows 50 times more, you know. I just hope that they're working the same as they were for Quentin Simon, you know.
Seth is very happy. He's had 3 or 4 meetings in the last 12 days.
4.
And he just told me, read between the lines.
Yeah. And perfect.
Read between the lines.
Well, I'm gonna hop down so you can say your goodbyes, and I don't know if
I appreciate you. We need
have
to do
we
one.
reached a chicken party yet?
I don't know. I don't think we've done a chicken. I don't think they pushed this time for the chicken party, but I don't know.
Probably not.
Did we get
I couldn't
1,000?
right now, though.
Good night, my love. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Get rest.
Thank you so much.
That's Mandy, also known as Spirit Seeker. Give her a round of applause. I'm tired too. Thank you, Heather. No, we didn't get to 1,000 thumbs up. It's okay. All right, guys. Much love to everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Great job, Mob Crew, as always, as well. I will see you guys tomorrow evening. I will be live tomorrow evening. It might be a little bit later tomorrow evening because I have to go finish Christmas shopping tomorrow. Lord. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, mods, members, chat, those who donated. Really do appreciate you keeping me here. Thank you, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Get some rest. God bless you all. Justice for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Justice for Michael Joseph Vaughn. Justice for Summer Wells, and justice for every missing and exploited child and adult out there. Good night.